Ricken Financial presents Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement. Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost want to help you reach the retirement you deserve. Let's build a strategy that gives you the confidence while meeting your financial wants and needs. Meet the team at rickenfinancial.com. Now, Kickin' with the Rickens.
Thanks for subscribing to Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement, rickenfinancial.com. My name is Mark Owens. Jerry Ricken, out of sight, but never out of mind. Heidi Ricken Provost.
So true.
How you doing?
I'm great, Mark. How are you doing?
How's Papa doing? How's Jerry doing?
He's doing well, you know. He was cleared to stand up straight. So we are making big strides in the Ricken household lately because I think 8 or 9 days of laying on a massage table and or holding his head down has not been fun.
And if they didn't catch the last episode of Kicking with the Rickens, explain exactly what happened to Jerry.
So Jerry was driving to get some lunch, and on his way back from home, eating lunch, his retina detached just randomly. So he had emergency surgery. They got it reattached, and they put this nice little gas bubble back there to kind of push some pressure for it to stay attached. And the recovery process, the immediate recovery process, is that gas bubble has to be the highest thing on your body. So he has been slumped over and laying on his side. And, you know, most people, if they were told, okay, you got a week to lay, they could probably lay for a week and watch TV or something.
Sure, I'd love it.
Not
That's
Jerry
a vacation.
Ricken. Yeah, no, not Jerry Ricken. No. He, literally the day after this emergency surgery where he could not see a thing out of his left eye, and had shooting pains from caffeine withdrawal, which might happen when you drink 8 cups of coffee a day and then you go down to 1 day of surgery. He was working already. He found a way to lay his laptop under this massage table. So I've gotten a lot of voice memos from him because he couldn't see the keyboard to type it, but he would, you know, he's been doing a lot. But I'm very proud of him, but I also would love for him to, you know, relax.
It makes more sense because watching how Jerry deals with surgery, something that would knock any normal human being off their feet a couple of weeks with recovery. And now I'm getting a better glimpse and insight into you because that's his work ethic. Now I see where you get it from too.
Oh, absolutely. And we both get it from Grandpa Willie.
Yeah.
I got to say, you know, he taught us a lot, but you wake up, you work hard. But I will also say one thing that he taught me, and that I actually had this conversation with my husband's grandma this past week too. You don't just work hard, you have to take care of yourself, and you have to do the work-life balance and have something left in your own tank so that you can work that hard when you are working.
Yeah.
So, you know, Nana said, and it's something that her husband always said too, you never wait for tomorrow what you can accomplish today. And I believe that to be true in business, but I also think that's true in life. So, you know, Dad learned how to slow down for a week. And as we talk, he actually is sitting in the office, Mark. But he's not at full capacity yet, but he is cleared to hold his head up straight.
Very good.
So he took that as you're okay to go back to work because believe it or not, being here serving our clients is more relaxing than being at home laying on a massage table or a couch for him.
God bless that sweet man. rickenfinancial.com. We invite you this weekend. Appreciate you listening to the show. Take 5 minutes. Go to rickenfinancial.com. The website's in the show notes. Just go send him a get well soon, or maybe send him a note to say, my friend, take a week off, slow down just a little bit. But I want to go back to something you just said there, Heidi, about, you know, we always talk about here on Kicking with the Rickens, you know, your financial health, but you just mentioned it. Your mental health is just as important because if you're not healthy in life, if you're not healthy with your brain, then it doesn't matter how much assets you have. If you're sick all the time, you're always down. What about you personally? Because I know you've been filling in for Dad the past couple of weeks, and I know you've got that work ethic we were just talking about. I know you love your clients. This isn't I'm overwhelmed because we have, but for you personally, do you find those opportunities to slow down?
You know, it's funny you say that because everyone who's ever listened to the show has heard me mention his name before, but Grandpa Willie had a great Willieism. I'll share it on air. Get ready to bleep me out.
Let's go.
He always used to say, if you don't have your health, you don't have And it's true. So and health isn't just a measure of, physical health and what your body looks like. You're so true, Mark, that it involves your mental health too. And you have to fill your cup back up to be able to be here and put everything into what you do on a daily basis. And whatever it is that you do in the working world, mine just happens to be, giving what I can to my clients. I took a few days off in the past week, and it was not ideal timing given what's going on with Dad, but it was a planned vacation for my niece's 5th birthday. We got to celebrate her golden birthday on Cinco de Mayo with her.
Nice.
She turned 5.
Very good.
I love my niece and nephew so much. They're up in the Boston area. It had been about a year since I got to see them because I got COVID during Christmas. So I ruined the Provost family Christmas. I am so sorry, guys. I did not mean to. So I missed Christmas with the little nuggets. So we got to go there. And my nephew wasn't very verbal last time I was with him a year ago. He's 2.5 now. And now we can't get him to stop talking. I love the little meatball Zachary. And I'm doing great now. My cup is very full because as tough as it was, there's some other stuff going on. His grandma's in a rehab facility, and like with every family, there's ups and downs and everything. And so it was a nice trip to be able to spend some time with, the family members who are struggling right now. But Zachary, when we left, my brother-in-law decided it was appropriate to wake up the 2.5-year-old to say goodbye to Auntie Heidi and Uncle Stephen.
Every time should be.
Oh, yeah. And he gave me the biggest hug. And I said, bye-bye, Zachary. I love you, and I'm going to miss you. And he said, bye, Auntie Heidi. Love you. And it's going to make me cry just thinking about it right now because a year ago, I don't think we ever thought we'd be able to hear him say those words. And shameless plug, he told me and not Uncle Stephen that he loves me. So it made it even better. But it's everything,
Yeah.
I don't have kids of my own yet, but those 2 little nuggets are like, I was there literally when Zachary was 2 days old. My other brother-in-law was getting married. So we were in town and I got to meet him the day he came out of the hospital. So it's pretty freaking cool to see it come around and to hear those words out of his mouth.
What a cool
So
moment.
that book that I bought, that, psychologically is teaching them how much they're supposed to love me too, called Auntie Loves You, that they read almost every night. It's working.
It's working. The power of books.
Oh, yeah.
Nice job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But so we spent quite a bit of time with the family. And, I mentioned Nana earlier. She's amazing. She's 92 years old. And I think she can run faster than me. She wanted to go on a walk in this rehab facility with Stephen and I when we were there almost every day. And at first I was like, she might not be able to keep up. Oh my God, I could barely keep up with her. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
And she kept telling us too. She said, you never wait for tomorrow what you can accomplish today. And she said that probably 5 times. And I keep thinking about it because so many times we let the fear of the unknown hold ourselves back. Yeah. And my motto for 2024 and beyond is I want to help every woman be empowered to plan their financial future. So if you're a female and you're listening to this, if you're a male, don't worry, I'll accept you as well.
Thank you.
But I want you to listen to the words I'm about to say. Do not wait for tomorrow what we can accomplish together today. You don't have to do it alone. And sometimes thinking about planning your financial future is paralyzing, especially when you start having to do all these analyses. Mm-hmm. We call that analysis paralysis. And you're like, oh my God, I can't even handle it. There's too many things being thrown my way. Where do I even begin? What questions do I need to ask? It can feel like this elephant sitting on your chest and you have no clue where to even begin to work the pressure off of you.
Yeah.
And that's where we step in. This is what I do on a daily basis. Yeah. And you don't have to do it alone. You should be having someone help you make all the financial decisions. Mm-hmm. But especially as a woman, we have more years to plan for in our financial future than the men do. If you look at the statistics, we outlive men. And so we have similar planning to do to the men, but it goes a step beyond that, especially when it comes to tax planning and a couple other facets, because you really need to make sure you have every base covered for the couple years that we're probably going to be around. If you do have a spouse and they're a man, you might be around a couple years without them. So you need to make sure you do some additional planning to cover yourself.
So how different is the planning when it comes to a female versus a male?
It's not as life-changing and different as you would think it might be. A lot of people think there has to be something totally abnormal and, it's going to take more work than it would if you're a couple or a single man to plan. The basics are the same for everyone. We want to make sure that you have income as long as you have blood pressure.
Yeah.
That's always a Rick and go-to. As long as you have blood pressure, you got to have income to cover your wants and your needs. So, needs first in the form of a paycheck, wants equally as important in the form of your paycheck for the future.
Paycheck.
So we want to make sure you have those needs covered. You need to have a plan of some sort for long-term care.
Yeah.
And you need to, whoever would be in charge of those decisions in your financial future, you want to make sure you have that conversation with them for what type of care you would want in the event that you need it. And then we can help you get access to the type of care that you'd like. And that's especially important for women because since we are outliving men, if you live longer in your older years, we're not living healthy becoming centenarians. The largest growing demographic in America are female centenarians. So if you think about that, people turning over 100 years old, it's women. If I'm 102 years old, I'm probably going to need some help. So you got to have a plan of some sort in place there, but that's really no different if you're a man or a woman or a couple, because you want to make sure you're protected and you have access to the type of care you'd want in the future. We look at life insurance. Would it make sense to have some living benefits for life insurance, or do you need the death benefit for life insurance to help cover things in the future if you have any debts out there? And investment planning. Every single person we meet with, it's like a thumbprint. Your risk tolerance and the risk and reward that you're searching for in your investments is going to be different from the next person down the street. We need to make sure that what you're invested in matches that. Then the big one, taxes. The IRS, they're going to be around forever.
They're going to outlive all of us.
I know, right? And so you need to have a plan for the future. Most people, when they talk taxes, they really only talk taxes when they go get their tax return completed. And at that point in time, there's very little you can do to plan because you're looking at the past, the previous year, and there are a couple things you can do, but not much to plan for the future and help decrease your taxes or even just plan your course of action for how you're going to handle the taxes moving forward. Especially when it comes to the women, we need to have a tax plan in place. You can, if you do some tax advantage strategies versus just whatever you were doing for your working years and while you're accumulating your wealth is the same thing you do when you have to decumulate it and live off of it. You're probably going to pay more in tax then than if you had some strategies in place. But there are plenty of strategies available so that you can pay your fair share, but nothing beyond that in the financial future for you. So when it comes to women, if you're married right now, most of those tax strategies are based upon a married filing jointly income tax return. It's a common misconception that I've come across a lot of people in this industry. They think when they're going to be single in the future. So if if your spouse pass away, they seem to think that the taxation is going to go down. And the unfortunate reality is your taxation is going to increase when your spouse is gone because it's more favorable to have the standard deduction for a married couple. There are so many different facets in the tax law that are more favorable when you're married. So if you have to go, and most people, one of the two Social Security payments will go away when your spouse goes away because you only get the higher of the two. But if you continue to make Social Security income, if you had a survivorship on pension income, if you maintain your same household, 50% of your expenses don't go away when your spouse passes. Only about 20% of your expenses go away when your spouse passes away. And actually, some people do more things when their spouse passes away because they would like to be a little bit more social. So they go out to eat more and whatnot. Sometimes your expenses remain the same. So your income level is going to remain about the same. And if you only get half of the deductions available, it can actually hurt pretty bad at tax time. So you have to have a tax plan of some sort in place, and you should always be planning for the future tax-wise, because when it comes to tax time, when you're actually preparing that return, you can't plan for the future. You're just looking at the past.
Heidi just said a couple seconds ago, there is a difference. It's not life-changing. It's not world-changing, but there is a difference between a strategy for a female and for a male. Now, what about in those joint financial plans too?
Well, first and foremost, both members of a partnership need to be equally involved. when we're doing a plan. Every single marriage is going to be different. So if you're married right now, chances are one of you does the day-to-day finances. One of you might make some other financial decisions. But when it comes to planning for our future, we want to make sure everyone is well aware of what is going to happen and why you're planning for this for the future. And so first and foremost, we want you both to be here and actively involved. It might be a little overwhelming at first for those of you who haven't been doing the finances your entire life, but that's what we're here for. We can help, relieve some of that burden. But we want you both actively involved. We want to make sure your cross beneficiaries are done properly. So, if you've been married your entire working lives and you would like to leave everything to your spouse and then to your children or whoever your other beneficiaries may be, we're going to do that review. If this is your second marriage, or, you've combined households, whatever the situation may be, and you need to have a tougher conversation about who the beneficiaries are going to be and how that's going to be designated, we're here to help with that as well. It's really no different from anything else. You just got to make sure both members of the partnership are equal partners in planning for your future, because anything can happen. Yeah. I could get hit by a bus tomorrow and Stephen might be left alone without me. I want to make sure he's as equally prepared for the future as I would be if he were to outlive me and vice versa.
This is great information, but most importantly, if you take nothing away from this conversation about some of the tips and tricks, specifically for women in retirement planning, if you need the team, you can always reach out to the team and ask these questions. RickenFinancial.com. You can find that link in the show notes here of Kicking with the Rickens. Again, RickenFinancial.com. They're always available, even when they just have eye surgery. So
Absolutely. And to add to that, Mark, when you don't even know what questions to ask, that's when we're here too.
Give me that line again. You never
wait for tomorrow what we can accomplish today.
Every day
is a holiday.
So life is short.
Laugh hard.
Heidi,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all. Hey, listen, again, if you need more information, make sure you check out RickenFinancial.com. And thanks for listening. This has been Kicking with the Rickens, redefining retirement.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Ricken Financial LLC. Ricken Financial LLC is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Ricken Financial LLC are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Ricken Financial LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Ricken Financial LLC.
Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA.